Okay, we're just about live.
Coach Davis didn't make it in. Richard Davis.
Coach Davis did not make it in. So
Okay.
Welcome to another very special edition of the JV Sports Show. So glad you joined us here this evening. We're all home, as we obviously know, during the coronavirus quarantine, but we wanted to bring you a special edition here tonight of the JV Sports Show. Vince, we've got a very special announcement coming at them very shortly. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, there's a special announcement, but I think we should introduce all of the special guests that we have with us. So running through really quickly here, I'll go through and introduce the coaches that are joining us here tonight. From Arcadia High School, we have Coach Vance Miller. From Buckeye High School, we have Coach Kelly Moore. From Camelback High School, we have Coach Brandon McNutt. From Casa Grande High School, Coach Jake Barrow. From Copper Canyon High School, Coach Chad Talley. From Desert Edge High School, coaches Marcus Carter and Mark Carter. From Northwest Christian, we've got Coach Dennis. From Paradise Honors, we've got Coach Josh Goodlow. From Desert Edge, Desert Ridge, we've got Coach Jeremy Halfcock. And joining us from Maricopa High School, sorry, I went out of order there. We've got Coach Brandon Harris. Coaches, how are you gentlemen doing tonight?
Doing great. Thank you. Doing great.
Good. All right. So, yeah, very special announcement. We kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit in the last couple of days because we just couldn't contain ourselves. It's been a labor of love these past few months in coordinating all this, and it's a very fluid situation, obviously, with everything that's going on at home and hitting us all personally with the COVID-19 quarantine. But we are bringing back for 2020 the Thursday night high school football game of the week for this fall. The JV Sports Show is partnering up with these schools as well as many others here, and we'll be coordinating those dates as we go, but really excited to do that and real happy that you coaches can join us tonight. James?
Yeah, we're very excited for you guys to be on here with us this evening, and we're very excited to announce the debut of Thursday Night Football. Now, as far as the scheduling goes, obviously we have to wait for the AIA to pick their game of the weeks for the Friday night broadcast that they traditionally do with, I believe it's Dan Minucci and Chris Harris on the broadcast for that on Friday nights. But there's a lot of games left, Vince, on the schedule that we're going to bring from that Friday night one day earlier to Thursday Night Football, and we're going to up the production value. We're going to have a sideline reporter. We're pleased to announce that Ms. Brittany Boyer is going to be our sideline reporter this season. And we got a great production crew led by Mr. Greg Jones. And so it's going to be a great evening of football. We're going to be live on YouTube, so everyone will be able to watch it no matter where they're at in the country. You know, grandma and grandpa back in Indiana can watch on their cell phone or, set it up on the smart TV, whatever the case may be. But we felt it was going to be a really good opportunity for exposure, not only for your team, but for your student athletes as well.
Well, and more importantly, it's all levels. We want to feature as many levels of play as possible to show folks that there's a lot of great football out there. There's a lot of great rivalries. It's going to be intense, and it'll be a lot of fun. We're really looking forward to it. We're excited. James, you're going to be handling the play-by-play, and I'll be doing the color analysis, be interviewing some great coaches and kids, and covering some great football.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time, Vince. And we want to do it kind of, in the tradition of the XFL. I say tradition of the XFL, only one season, but they did a lot of stuff, on the spur of the moment. They would have a sideline reporter, and we're going to have a sideline reporter as well. And she's going to be on the sideline roaming around, and she's going to come up and interview players right after a big play or right after maybe a big interception. There might be a quarterback that throws an interception. He might get a microphone in his face there about 2 minutes later. Say, hey, what happened on that play there? Was it a blown, was it a blow? He's going to say it's a blown route, obviously, but wouldn't be a bad throw or anything. But we want to try to make it fun like that, and so hopefully you guys will be okay with that. And we want to kind of put that little disclaimer out there right now. But it's going to be a good time. We're going to make it interesting for the fans. We're going to have multiple camera angles, obviously a really good, a really good wide shot of the game. And then we're going to have a couple of tight shots as well. And then the sideline camera for those sideline interviews. And then we'll get some players, shots of players and stuff during plays as well, because there's a lot of downtime in football. So it's going to be a really good time.
And more importantly, it's not just about Thursday night. We're going to start this thing the Saturday preceding the Thursday night game itself. We're going to have a segment specifically devoted on the JV Sports Radio show on AM 1060 that will be talking about the team of the week that leads up to the game. So we'll have coaches that'll be featured during that segment. We may have one or two of the kids on the show itself. And then, of course, Thursday, we'll start off with pregame. We'll do the game itself. And then a Saturday morning wrap-up post-game. So it'll be a lot of fun. James, should we take a break, and then we'll come back and get to know some of these coaches?
Well, Vince, break's not on the docket for tonight because I wasn't able to queue up the commercials in time because I had all the technical difficulties just getting dialed into the meeting. So we're just going to run straight through this, but we're gonna obviously, live TV at its best, right? Okay. But we're going to definitely talk about our sponsors as well. Sal's Gilbert Pizza, Angel Dentistry, and all the sponsors that help keep us on the air, literally keep us on the air. So thanks to them as well. And talking about the actual Thursday night broadcast, we're going to also have a pregame show that's going to start at 6:30 p.m. We're going to try to do like a field level thing, a la, Thursday night football, NFL style, and directors' chairs and so forth right there on the field. So we're going to do that. And then we're obviously going to have in-game interviews, as I mentioned, with players and coaches during the game. And then we're also going to do a post-game wrap-up show as well and have the hopefully at least the head coach over, maybe a player or two, an MVP type thing after the game as well. So it'll be a full broadcast from 6:30 p.m. probably until about 10:30 or so when we're heading home, and then listening to the post-game radio guys on Friday night.
Okay, sounds good. Well, let's get to know some of these guys, James, since we don't have a commercial break. Let's start with Arcadia coach Vance Miller. Coach Miller.
Yes, sir.
All right. So how's it going there, Coach? You're disappearing a little bit, but tell us a little bit about coming into this year, expectations. What do you got out there on Indian School and 48th Street?
I got a great group of kids, inherited a great bunch, and a lot more coming out of the woodwork lately. It's awesome. I'll tell you, our number one thing out there that I haven't seen in a long time coaching is speed. I have more speed than I've ever coached, and I'm going to hang my hat on it this year. That's just exciting for my entire coaching staff. Brought a good number of my guys over from AJ, and we've gelled over the last 7 years, and came over with this new group of kids, and they're hungry, chomping at the bit, and that's just excites us and excites them. Now, if we ever get back and see them, that'd be great.
All right. Coach Kelly.
Coach looking like a little lucha libre there, and with that background going on.
Coach Moore, Buckeye High School. How you doing, Coach? Coach Moore. Do we have Coach Moore?
It's going to be great for Arizona football.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach. So this is a big season for Buckeye. It's an anniversary of sorts. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's the 100th year of Buckeye's existence, so it's going to be a big dang deal. At least we'd love to make it that, and the fact that you're going to host us, we're definitely humble to hopefully put out a good product for you.
What do you who do you project us covering in that game? Can you tip your hat a little bit and tell us who you think will be broadcasting that night?
Throw it out there, Coach. Who do you want to challenge?
I want to challenge the Carter brothers, except I like going home at night, so I think we'll make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, it looks like one of them is on his way to your house right now, Coach. I can't even see him in the picture. There he comes. He's coming back. So
well, I'll tell you what, we're across the street from Desert Edge, so there'll be a short jaunt for him.
Okay. All right. Great. Coach McNutt, Camelback High School. Go Spartans. Coach, how's it going, and how's the off season been?
Oh, it's actually been great. Like I said, we were real young last year, so we went 4-6. I mean, I'll be honest, we kind of underachieved, but first year out, got a lot of experience. It's actually very cool looking at all these coaches here. A lot of experience, a lot of great games. I've coached against a lot of these guys, especially the Carters. They're doing great things. Actually, I'm trying to take some of that out of their book at what they did at South and what they're going to carry over at Desert Edge, and try to get that going at Camelback as well, especially since I'm a Phoenix Union alumni and my dad's a graduate of Camelback 65, so I got to do something, or I got to hear it from him every day.
Who do you see as the big rivalry now in the Metro?
Oh man, well, it was South, and they changed their schedule up. So I think it's going to have to be. It used to be, and we don't even have North now. So it's probably going to be somebody new. I don't even know. I know my dad's mad that it ain't South. I mean, that's where the cup was, the Trophy Cup. So
Yeah.
It's going to be. We're in a good region. I'll be honest. I think it's going to be one of the most competitive. The reason is I think everybody in the regions thinks they're the number one team. So every game's going to count. Everybody's going to be going all out, and it's going to be very competitive this coming season.
Okay. Casa Grande, Coach Barrow, Jake Barrow. Coach, last year, coming out of last season, how did you guys finish up the year, and what do you have coming back? See, Coach Barrow muted.
Hey, we're going to readmit him right now, Vince. He's joining us here right now. Coach Barrow, he's coming in. There he is, Coach Barrow. Thanks again for joining us. He's getting his audio connected right now, and then he's going to be up. He is on. Coach Barrow, how are you? Go ahead, Vince. I'm going to unmute him.
Okay, so coming out of last season, Coach Barrow, your expectations, going into the offseason, going into this year, what have you got coming back?
Well, we've got our quarterback coming back, and he was kind of the leader as a sophomore last year, Angel Flores. Great kid. He's 4.0 student. Really had a good grasp of the offense as a sophomore, going to be a junior next year. 900-pound club guy in the weight room. We do bring back 3 out of our 5 offensive linemen, which is huge. And then on defense, we lose our secondary, but bring back the front 7. So we're pretty excited for this year. Whenever we do get to hit the practice field, we're pretty excited for it. Great group of kids, good group of leaders. Last year was nice because they got a taste of a playoff run. Hopefully this year we can do that again and even go a little bit further.
Coach Barrow, who would you like to see in that Thursday night contest down there when we head towards Casa Grande?
For us playing?
Yes, sir.
Who would I like us to play? Man, once I can see our schedule, I can give you a little bit better idea. I've seen bits and pieces, but I don't really know yet. I'd like it to be a home game. Can I at least give you that much?
Yeah, definitely a home game. Yeah, you're hosting us. That's the bad news. You're hosting us.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for it. I really am. I think the whole community will get excited. But man, that's all I can tell you right now. I don't know who we got and when we have them yet.
Well, we're also pleased to be joined here this evening by Coach Brandon Harris of the Maricopa High School Rams. Coach Harris, how are you doing?
Doing really good, James. Thank you.
Coach Harris, an old friend of mine. I used to coach with him at Phoenix Christian High School, and he has built the Maricopa Rams into a powerhouse. Coach, talk a little bit about your program down there in Maricopa and what you guys have been up to.
Well, a little bit premature on the powerhouse part, but we're building it, and we're building it the right way, and we have some really good pieces. I really felt like prior to us going to spring break, the culture that I wanted in place was starting to take hold. In year 3, that's usually when you get it there. And so, like everybody else, you're just you're hopeful that number one, that first and foremost, people are safe and they're adhering to the things that they're supposed to be doing. It's not the time to mess around. And so, as much as we want to be with those players, our players, the message I've given our kids is just to kind of stay safe. First things first is no one should have an F or a D. Everybody should have an A or a B, really. It's all online. So no one should fail a class, that's for sure. And then number 2, whatever you got to do to make sure that you're where you need to be when the all clear sounds, you better be there, because it's as quickly as this thing came on, I think that it'll move away and we got to be ready to go. And we're not going to have a lot of time to get prepared. So it's going to pay to get those guys where they are. So, but real happy with our guys. Real happy with our program thus far. I have a really good staff, and we're building on some good things. We had a really a fortunate first year, really young last year, and I think we got some really nice pieces coming back for next season.
And Coach, how much have you been able to keep in contact with your players during all this coronavirus quarantine? And are you able to have regular meetings and so forth? And how has that been?
Yeah, we've like everyone else, I mean, or like a lot of programs, we've utilized technology, and so we're doing virtual spring football, and we've had offensive install days, defensive install days, special teams install days, coaches meetings, and then individual coaches meetings with their position groups. So we've stayed active. We want to stay in touch with our players and just not have them out there, untouched. So it's real important. The communication is king right now.
Well, Coach Harris, we appreciate you joining us today. We're also joined as well by Coach Jeremy Halfcock from the Desert Ridge Jaguars. I've been privy to a couple of really good games. Got to watch his program over the last couple of years, being the color analyst for Red Mountain High School. Coach Halfcock, how are you doing?
It's not a good word to say right now, brother. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you, Coach.
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Floor is yours.
Okay. Well, hey, we are kind of rebuilding from scratch a few years ago, and we felt like we took a positive step this year and got a quarterback returning. He's 6'4" and put on about 30 pounds, so about 220, and he threw for 3,000 yards. And we got a big old line, great defense. We have really good coaches. Coach Bafumi will be joining us from Skyline on the D line, and we just feel like just like all these other coaches. The reason I like these other coaches because they're grinders, and the Desert Ridge identity, as you guys are very well aware of. I mean, it's toughness, and if we go and start playing fast and all that, we lose our identity. And so we want to put you in a box and beat you up, and that's kind of our mentality. And like Brandon said, not having the off season is going to be tough for all of us. So. But we're excited to see what happens. This could be a fun year for us.
James, I need to address the elephant in the room here as I look at Coach Dave Ennis here from Northwest Christian. Coach.
Yeah, brother.
What is up with that banner behind you?
What, my NC?
Yes, yeah.
NC with a cross in the middle, man.
Yeah, but it's turned on its side.
No, it's hanging straight up and down.
Okay.
Above the window.
All right. See, thought I was going to ask you something else. See, I was curious about the banner. So anyway, how are you doing, Coach? How's the off season going?
You know what? It's tough like everybody, but our kids are we're following what we're supposed to be doing, and we're blessed. We've got 14 starters coming back. We never win a pregame warm up. We're not very big. But our kids play hard, and like Jeremy said, we're going to play hard from start to finish and see what happens at the end. And we want to have a shot to be in it in the fourth quarter. And we've been blessed with that over the years, and we're blessed that each year our seniors, they take over and run our program.
James, I want to say that we called one of Coach Ennis's playoff games about a year and a half ago. I think in 2018, it was like a semifinal game. I don't think I counted more than 25 kids on his roster that night.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. Well, you know what? And it's just Iron Man football, and it's just a lot of fun. It's fun to coach kids that they're going to learn anywhere from 2 to 3 positions, and we're playing special teams. And again, last year we were big. This year coming up, we're not very big, but that don't matter.
Coach, who would you like to host during your Thursday night football game there over there at 43rd Avenue in Bell?
You don't have to ask that, do you?
Which is right around the corner from me, by the way.
Yeah. No. We'll play Yuma Catholic 10 weeks in a row if we can. And
all right, that would be a great one.
Those are classics because it's I think we played them 18 times in 10 years. And if you're playing them late, that means you're still in it.
Outstanding. We try to get that one on the books, Vince. Yuma Catholic at Northwest Christian.
There you go. And homecoming of sorts for Copper Canyon, Coach Chad Talley. Coach Talley was an offensive coordinator there a couple of years back and left for a head coaching opportunity, and now he's back. Coach, how's the environment different for you being a coordinator now returning as a head coach?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, especially the size going from 3A to 6A, there's more kids available. I think we're like 2,300, 2,400 kids. And the environment's kind of what I'm comfortable with. The environment, the group of kids that I get in the classroom and the field. I had some good times there as an OC, and glad to be back there.
Rivalry-wise, who do you see as a major rivalry now in this new division for you?
I don't know rivalry really in a sense, but I know a pretty tough one I think will be Westview's pretty good usually every year, and they got a good program. It's been solidified for many seasons, and that'd be a little tough one to compete with year one. But let's kind of look at the schedule that I think it might be late in the year. It might be a little tough one.
All right, thank you, Coach. Let's head out to Desert Edge with the Carter twins. Coach Mark and Marcus. How you doing, coaches?
Doing good, doing good.
All right, and there's a new addition to the family as well for Coach Marcus.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Extremely blessed and, just honored, just to be a part of these great coaches. And I see a lot of great faces that I see and I follow on Twitter, and it's finally good to put a face to a name and get to, fellowship with all these great coaches.
Now, most of the time when a coach leaves a program, he leaves the cupboards pretty bare, but Coach Lucero left you quite a bit there going into the off season. So it puts added pressure on you, obviously, because you got to build on what was already a kind of a good thing going. So what have you got, and what are you expecting?
Well, we have 18 starters coming back from that state championship team, and I just feel like we didn't leave the cupboard bare at South Mountain. So I guess it's just the Lord just putting us in a better situation, and all the kids are awesome. When you have your first team meeting and you walk out of there and the kids say, Coach, I just met you, but I know I love you already. That's a good feeling, and so it was a unique situation for us because when you get a new coach, you really have to learn about them and, do your homework and stuff. And, with the AZ Central show about my brother and I and what we're doing at South Mountain, the parents and the kids got to see an actual inside look of, who we are and how we do things. So they obviously thought it was a great fit for them. And Mark and I thought it was a great fit for us. And, the Lord just blessed us to be in a great situation. And, I'm just happy about it.
Coach
now,
Mark.
not to keep harping on the coronavirus, obviously with you guys, but talk about being behind the eight ball. Coming into a new program, trying to establish a rapport with your players. And how are you guys doing that right now? Obviously, just FaceTiming and some online Zoom meetings, or not to how are you able to do that? Because you're really at a disadvantage there.
So we got to spend about 2 to 3 weeks with them before the coronavirus hit. So they kind of got a taste of us for about 3 weeks, 2 times a week. And, once the virus hit, it really didn't hinder us too much besides the physical contact. We've been doing Zoom meetings, with our players for, at least 2 years now. Marcus and I just came up from, we were brought into this game with Larry Feckenheimer. So it was just grind. And, we have really young families. So and we're family men, so we had to try to get more creative and get more efficient because we want to be at home with our wives and our children. So we started using Zoom a couple of years ago, just on the weekends with coaches and with players, and that cut a lot of time. So when this hit, it didn't really bother us too much because we were doing Zoom. So we would practice on Tuesdays, Zoom with the boys on Wednesdays, practice on Thursdays, and Zoom with the boys on the weekend. So we were already in motion. This is kind of something we did. Trying to just be more efficient and trying to be at home as much as we possibly could. And so we're doing well. We meet with them on Tuesdays and Thursdays via Zoom and do the installs. And then, Mondays and Wednesdays, they have assignments, of what they've seen on film and things like that in Google Classroom. So, we're using technology to the greatest extent we can.
And I don't necessarily think it's a disadvantage because obviously with everybody not practicing physically, it's not really a disadvantage because now we can mentally install things. And so once we hit the field, they'll know the verbiage and the terminology and all that stuff. So when we hit the field, we just hit the ground running. So, it's actually a blessing in disguise, to be honest, because, we get to still keep going while everybody gets to stop. Well, everybody has to stop.
Heading over to Paradise Honors, the Panthers, Coach Josh Goodlow. Coach Goodlow, how are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
Great. Coach, what do you got coming back this year?
We're returning 9 seniors that got some playing time last year, playing for us. So we got 9 of them coming back for us this year. And we got a good incoming freshman class coming in for us this year. We got 25 incoming freshmen. So it's the most the school's ever had.
Awesome. And your major rivalry, or what are you hoping? Which team are you calling out that you'd like us to broadcast with you guys?
Don't be shy, Coach.
Yeah.
So it looks like our major rivalry is Odyssey. So it looks like that's who we'll be playing on that Thursday night game is Odyssey. The ADs have kind of talked and agreed on that. So that's what it's looking like it's going to be for us.
Outstanding. Well, we thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. We won't want to take too much more of your time away from your families. Obviously, everybody's at home right now, and we appreciate you stepping aside. And we hope that you enjoyed being able to come on and share a little bit about your program. And we're excited to have you guys as part of the Thursday Night Football lineup. Again, things are going to be solidified a little bit more in the coming weeks. Hopefully, after the AAA releases their schedule and all the, not only the conference or regional games are solidified, but also the elective games as well.
Join us tomorrow morning on the JV Sports Show, AM 1060, 9 a.m. And we are going to be interviewing Eastmark High School head football coach Scooter Molander, among others, to make for a great show. We'll talk a little bit more about the Thursday night game of the week for this fall. And thank you again, gentlemen, for joining us this evening. We'll be talking to you again soon.
Yes, and if you guys want to hang tight here with us for just a couple more minutes, we got a real quick thing we want to do really fast after the show here. So thanks again, guys, for joining us. We appreciate it, and we hope everyone enjoyed watching the show tonight. And again, like Vince said, tune in tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. KDUS 1060 a.m. in Phoenix. You can also get us on the live stream. And everyone have a great night. Thanks again. Go JV.